So today we're going to try Amish white bread. We're going to have a cup of water, a cup of milk, 2/3 of a cup of sugar, and we're going to add a tablespoon and a half of active dry yeast. Then we're going to put a pinch of ginger in it. Apparently ginger activates yeast. This I didn't know. We will try it. It's 1/3. 2/3 cup of sugar. I'm just going to whisk that in. 1.5 tablespoons of the dry, tablespoons. Again, that's a large, so there's my tablespoon. So 1.5 tablespoons of the yeast. I had to actually get another jar of yeast. Now, that was actually a little bit more than required, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Now, whisk it in. And they say just to let this sit for a few minutes until it bubbles. I can't forget that pinch of ginger. All right, so we're ready for the next step. I've got to whisk in a cup of bread flour, and it says to use bread flour specifically, so I had to step away and go root through my stuff to go find another container of that, because I've been making a lot of bread lately and gone through it already. So after the flour, I'm gonna whisk in the salt, and the salt is 1.5 teaspoons. So let me just get that cleaned off a bit. One half. All right. So we got the salt mixed in. Now, this called for 1/4 of a cup of oil. The recipe did say you can use vegetable oil, coconut oil that's been melted, or melted butter. So I've chosen to go with the butter. And let me tell you, that was fun because it exploded in the microwave on me, and now I have a mess to clean up there. So maybe there are better ways to melt that butter. So this calls for 5 cups of flour. So I'm going to start adding the flour. I'm going to switch off from the whisk though, because that's going to become not usable. I'm just going to go to a spoon and start to add the flour 1 cup at a time, and until it forms a nice dough. So I added the 1st cup and whisked that in with the whisk. Now I've added the 2nd cup and moved to the spoon. This will be the 3rd cup of flour. I'm saying that for me just as much as for you, so I don't forget where I'm at, but yeah. We are on cup number 3. It's starting to get firm already, or less sloshy, I should say, maybe. So that's 3. All right, this is 4. So the recipe calls for 5.5 cups. Again, that half cup is up to you, I believe, because it depends on how your mix is going together. You don't want it to be overly floury, I guess. And let's see, that's 4. Already it's starting to get nice. I don't think I'm going to need that extra half cup, but we'll see. So I am ready for the last cup of flour. I think what I'm going to do at this point is switch to hand kneading. So I'm just going to scrape this off of the spoon. I could have had a better spoon, but to do that with. This was handy, and I don't care. I am that type of girl. Just go with the flow. So there we are. Now just softly exactly need this. If I do need that extra half cup, I'll go ahead and put that in. But I'm thinking I probably won't need it. The next step after this, after I get this well incorporated, it will be to pull out the flour to do a dusting on the countertop here, and then to knead it onto the countertop. As you can see, it's getting to the appropriate consistency. We want it to be smooth and elastic and not sticking to my hand. And it's slowly getting there, and I still haven't got all the flour off of the sides. So definitely not at this point thinking I need that extra half cup. All right, I think we're just about ready to turn this out. You can see it still has some stickiness to it, which I think will take up with that flour that will be put on the countertop here. I'm a little leery about adding the extra cup of flour and having that heavy doughy consistency to it. So, all right, and what we're going to do is knead it for 10 minutes. I did a little bit of cleanup before I got things ready here on the countertop. Oops, I do not want to actually knead with the other hand. That's where I've got all of my jewelry, and that's no good with dough. So I'm going to do a one-handed knead, which will be fine. All right, and now I'm ready to put this into the greased bowl. You can oil it, you can use shortening. I'm still using my ghee around the inside of the bowl. And we're going to leave this sit. This is the first rise, and it's going to sit for about 30 minutes. I'm going to want it to rise about an inch or so above the pan, or sorry, above where it is now, at least double in bulk. So I'm not sure how large that will be, but it will be about an hour. And then I'm going to take it out of this pan, punch it down, divide it in half, and get it into the bread pan. So, all right, stay tuned. So I did find this bread recipe. It's an Amish white bread, and I'm going to try that out today. It looks like it's going to be great, and yeah, we'll see how it turns out. Let's have a peek. Oh, that's looking really good. So it's got about 15 more minutes to go. I'm just going to leave it, and we'll come right back. So I'm going to turn the oven on 350. We're going to bake this for it's about 30 minutes. Yeah, and I've greased the two bread pans, and we are getting ready to go to stage 2. All right, so before I start, I better take them all off, because I think this is a two-handed job, because I've got to punch it all down like this, and I'm going to knead it for 3 minutes. And then once I've gotten through the kneading part, then it gets all right. So this has been kneaded for 3 minutes. The next thing we're going to do is just divide this dough and make 2 nice balls and let it set for another 3 minutes, just like that. Just going to put the towel back over top. All right, so we're ready now. If you've watched the other bread making videos that I have, I always use this heating pad to help the bread to rise. The next thing we're going to do is shape these into loaves. Now they're already in a round ball, and I've already greased my bread pans. And I'm just going to tuck them in like this. And the next thing to do with this is put some melted butter on top. Now these are also going to rest for about 30 minutes. And while they're resting, they will rise. They want these about an inch above the top. So a little bit, maybe a bit smaller. I don't know. I haven't made these before. We'll see. We're ready to get these guys rising, and we'll be back in about 30 minutes. So as we can see, I actually ended up putting a piece of plastic over this because the butter was leaching out onto my dish towel. Didn't want that. I've got a really nice rise on this loaf. This one is still coming along. They said 30 minutes. I'll give it a few more minutes. We'll see where we are. Well, I got a bit of a situation, and I think I'm just gonna do this. I've got one that's really ready. The other one is a few minutes away from being ready. I am going to just go ahead and put this one in. I've had that oven going for a while, and you know, being mindful of the electrical grid and all that, I think I'll go ahead and get it started because I've got some of dinner that's going to go in with that. I think I'm just going to put this one in. It's been about another 5 minutes. There's been no change. I think that what happened was I put more of the dough into the other one, so that's all right. We'll have a smaller loaf on this one. So it says to keep it in the oven for 30 minutes until it sounds hollow. I think this is the smaller loaf, and I do believe that sounds nice and hollow. And I'll just get the other loaf out. I was so worried that they weren't going to rise. Here they rose really nicely in the oven. So we're good there. Now, the next thing they say to do is take some butter. They say if you want your crust to be soft, which I do, I'm gonna butter the top of it, and we'll leave it sit for about 5 minutes. Now they did say to put the tea towel on it, but I really don't want butter all over my tea towel. I think I'll just leave it without, and then I'll remove it from the pan because we are gonna have some of this for dinner. All right. As you can see, this is out of the pan. Feels great. Nice soft top. I'm just going to let this one cool. I think we'll take the smaller loaf for dinner. Well, have a great evening, guys. Bye for now.